What's up, Collider TV Talk fans? Josh Macuga here with Thadd Williams, doing a little TV talk on your Friday. If it's freezing where you are, stay inside and listen to us, watch us. Whatever it is you do, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the Collider podcast channel, the Collider TV Talk feed, wherever you listen to podcasts. We are here every single week talking TV, your favorite thing to watch, other than movies, I guess. Or together, you can watch them together.
I mean,
TV
sure.
movies.
Sure. Yeah. You can watch, or you watch like 6 movies in a row and it equals the length of a limited series or something.
Correct.
I don't know.
That's correct. So thank you guys for joining us. Hashtag Collider TV Talk. We got a lot of news coming up, a lot of trailers, a lot of fun stuff. TCAs are kind of going on right now, so there's going to be news sort of breaking, I guess, while we're doing it. So we'll keep an eye on that. But
and if you don't know, the TCAs are the Television Critics Association panels. They do them twice a year.
Yeah.
Where all the TV
sort of like an upfront of sorts.
Yeah, all the TV critics come out to Pasadena, and then they hear presentations basically from all the studios where the showrunners and the actors show up and they answer questions.
Yes.
It's where most of the news and all these articles for the next 2 months come from.
Right. So we've got some of that to cover, and I mean, I never go to those things.
Oh, we are not allowed to be in there.
Yeah,
no.
They send people like Allison Keene from Collider.com.
They have our photos up on the security desk. Like, do not let them in.
100%.
And that's okay. Don't get angry at them. They're making the right call.
Okay, here we go. First, we got a trailer, like a teaser trailer for Barry.
Oh yeah. That looked good.
It looked awesome.
As soon as
psyched.
As soon as NoHo Hank showed up, like the amount of laughter that was.
Oh no, you're the most evil.
The amount of laughter that was happening in my household, because NoHo Hank is without fail my favorite character of last year.
Yes,
and
on all TV shows.
Yes, across the board, my favorite new character of the year, and I want more of NoHo Hank whenever possible.
Yes.
So it made me smile, and they got to put Emmy Award winner Henry Winkler in there.
Yeah, I know, it's fantastic.
And Emmy Award winner Bill Hader and all that stuff. So that was endearing to me.
And this next few months on HBO is so jam packed.
Oh.
I mean, put Game of Thrones aside, obviously,
right.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But Barry, the last season of Veep, the Big Little Lies season 2. I mean, this is all coming out back to back to back to back.
It's a big spring for HBO. Did you see the Veep teaser? It was just a bunch of clips from old seasons, but it was so well put together, setting you up for the final year without having to give anything away.
Right, 100%.
Just really made that.
I'm looking forward to seeing what they release when we actually get a teaser. Kind of do you know what I mean?
Like a full trailer?
Yeah, with new stuff.
because it just said coming soon. They didn't put a date on it.
No.
So I'm wondering if they're waiting.
May?
Well, I'm wondering if they're going
June.
to tie it to the final episodes of True Detective, or because they're not going to wait. They're not going to wait to date it until all the way up until Game of Thrones premieres.
Right. Oh yeah, for sure.
So my guess is if they don't announce it during the TCAs this week, then next week, then they'll probably announce it in the next couple weeks.
Yeah,
or maybe a Super Bowl spot. They did. Speaking of the Super Bowl, because so many people are watching the Super Bowl, they actually tweeted out, if you log into HBO Go or HBO Now, starting today, Friday, February 1st, you can watch all of the Sunday night shows. So
that's awesome.
So this Sunday's True Detective, this Sunday's Crashing, all that stuff is all available. High Maintenance, that's all available ahead of time, so you can catch up on it streaming before the big game happens.
I like that.
It makes sense, especially on the East Coast. I mean,
Sure.
we kind of forget about it because the Super Bowl starts at 3:30 here in LA. But if you're on the East Coast, you're watching the Super Bowl till way late at night.
Yeah.
So you miss out on the Sunday shows.
Ken, Mark, and I, who are in Arizona this weekend, so if you're in the Phoenix, Scottsdale area, come to Pub Rock Live Friday night, 9 p.m., one single show. We're leaving early Sunday morning in order to get back in time for the Super Bowl, and I told my mom that. She's like, "Why? It starts at 6:30." I'm like, "Mom,
Nope.
3:30.
3:30.
7 o'clock. You can go out to dinner.
Oh,
it's fantastic.
I do love it because the game ends. I've sobered up, or my wife has sobered up, and I'm just passed out on the couch. And then we leave our buddy's house.
Yeah.
We get home, we cook dinner, and watch whatever the big Sunday post Super Bowl
I noticed
show
that,
is.
that Showtime isn't doing Sunday night programming.
Yeah, sometimes they take some networks take a break. Showtime, that makes sense because CBS is running the Super Bowl.
Correct.
And they want everyone watching CBS.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes the networks will do alternative programming.
Yeah.
Like I remember one year was it Mad Men was like running during the Oscars. They were like, screw that. We know you're watching Mad Men.
Yeah.
Like everyone's going to turn away for an hour.
Awesome.
Because it was like pre DVR plus 7 kind of era.
Right.
But yeah. Some networks will take a break.
If you're a West Coaster, you know that the West Coast is the best place to watch sports because Monday Night Football, you're done by 8:30. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Any kind of East Coast sporting event starts so early here. You have like an excuse to get out of work.
Yeah.
and like you have happy hour when it starts. I mean, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's just the best. All right. So Stephen King's The Stand got ordered at CBS All Access. Now I know I feel like I've been talking about The Stand in some way, shape, or form for like 5 years.
Yeah. I feel this
maybe longer.
This has been in development forever.
The cool thing about this is the guy Josh Boone that is doing this story grew up in like a very Catholic or Christian household or Baptist or something. I was reading in this article, and he had The Stand and he read it like at night when his parents were asleep. His parents found it and threw the book away.
Interesting.
So he wrote Stephen King a letter and told him about it. Stephen King sent him back a bunch of signed copies of different books of his, including The Stand. And his parents were so amazed with Stephen King's generosity that they let him read the books. And this has been a passion project of his to get The Stand onto television. And he's finally getting it done at CBS All Access.
Yeah.
Pretty cool story.
Notwithstanding the 1994 miniseries, which I don't think anyone really wants to remember. But
I feel like the only one of those miniseries that anybody ever talks about is It.
Yeah, because a lot of them in the 90s, like they did like Tommy Knockers and
what was that one where they eat time?
I don't know.
There's something about eating time. If you're watching out there, tweet at us, #ColliderTVDoc. Tell me the show, the Stephen King miniseries where they ate time. It was like these little monsters, and you couldn't go back. Like they were trying to go back.
You're not thinking of A Wrinkle in Time, like Madeline L'Engle?
No, the Ava DuVernay movie?
Yeah.
No. Yeah, it was a weird miniseries. I forget what it was, but yes.
The Langoliers.
The Langoliers. There you go.
Let me Google that for you. I figured that out. But yeah, so it's coming to CBS All Access, 10-episode series.
Yes.
Interesting. I mean, they're making a bunch of plays on CBS All Access.
I was going to say, it seems like there's...
Well, they just had their TCA thing, I think, earlier this week, so we're getting all this information. So they announced that Twilight Zone's going to debut on April Fool's Day.
Smart. I like that.
2 episodes,
okay.
and then it's going to be a once-a-week thing.
I like that the Twilight Zone is ruining my favorite holiday, because I won't watch the Twilight Zone. I watched like 2 of the old episodes, and I had to sleep with my parents for weeks. It was like 9. My dad's like, I think you'll like it. My mom did not approve, and there I was.
Oh.
But
I'm very excited for Twilight Zone. They confirmed that the Picard show is going to debut this year, but they haven't dated it or released any trailers or anything.
Do we know if the title is House of Picards? Or?
They have not said that yet, but I think they're probably working on the rights because they want to make sure that does become the title.
Great, that might make sense
because it's the only one that makes sense.
Right, for sure. Do you think that with the Twilight Zone, right?
Yeah.
Is all we're going to hear is I like Black Mirror more? Because that's what I'm worried about. Like, is this going to be so similar to Black Mirror, or is it going to be a harken back to like an homage to the original Twilight Zone?
Right, and well, because I think you had the Black Mirror comparisons with like Altered Carbon,
yes.
or Electric Dreams, the Philip K. Dick one.
Yes, yeah.
And there have been a few other anthologies that have popped up in the wake of Black Mirror. I'm hoping that I think Jordan Peele is going to put a little bit more of a horror tinge on these. I mean, the Twilight Zone was not horror in like the modern day sense of a horror movie, but it did have a lot of those same storytelling devices. Yeah, and less. I mean,
Get Out felt like an episode of the
Twilight Zone. Yeah, I mean, friggin' Planet of the Apes was written by Rod Serling. Like that's like one giant episode of the Twilight Zone, and I think that Black Mirror is so much more in the science fiction realm than in the kind of twisty wink at the camera ending. They still do those, and they've done them very effectively. But I don't think not every episode feels like the Twilight Zone. Okay. So I think that if this series sticks to the roots of the show and doesn't try to copy what's hot right now, which I'm hoping that they're going to do. They're remaking at least one of the classic episodes. the William Shatner episode with Adam Scott's going to play the lead.
Nice.
Terror at 30,000 Feet, I think is what the original was called.
He does an actual pretty good Shatner.
I don't know if he's going to do a Shatner impression. That'd be pretty great. Maybe for like one scene, like one time when he does a jump, he'll do the pause.
Right.
But I'm hoping that the rest of the show is just very inventive, unique, crafted anthology style stories. Because they can play back on like Twilight Zone, Alfred Hitchcock Presents.
Yeah.
What was the other?
Alfred Hitchcock Presents Sexual Harassment Before It Was Something.
What was the other? Oof, God, you're so right. Oh God,
just saying.
What was that Alfred Hitchcock movie that just came out? Or the TV movie?
The one with Sienna Miller as Edie Hedgwick. Yes, I think it was like Girl or The Girl.
The Girl, yeah.
Oof, that was a bad one.
It was hard to watch.
Yes.
And then I'm totally blanking on the other Twilight Zone style show from the 60s. That was another science fiction one, and I'm blanking on the name.
I got nothing for you.
Anyway, so if they harken back to those kind of storytelling devices and don't just try to make it all Black Mirror and make it all like about current day technology and like that dystopian style.
Where do you draw the line? It's
going to be hard. There's going to be a lot of comparisons. Yeah. I'm hoping that Jordan Peele's involvement gives it a different, more comparison. I'd rather them try to compare it to Get Out than try to compare every episode of Black Mirror. That's what I'm hoping for.
Well said. So we got a trailer. I put this in here as just hey, David Griffin, we miss you, buddy. Hope you're doing well over there at IGN, living the dream. The Spanish Princess, we got this trailer, right?
Yes.
It's going to be on Stars, shockingly. I mean, I think it follows this through line of like the White Queen and the White Princess, and now we've got the Spanish Princess, right? And they all look very similar. Now, I was guilted into watching a few episodes of The White Princess on Stars by David Griffin from the original TV Talk 1.0. He's like, come on, Josh, watch this. You'll like it.
Why's it got to be a white princess?
Because she's always dressed in white.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's like the Red Queen, the White Queen from...
Correct.
From...
Yes.
That famous story.
Where she was also just very pale.
Yeah. That's what I always assumed.
And it's the actor that then became the assassin in Killing Eve.
Oh, yeah. She is freaking awesome
She's
in Killing
awesome.
Eve.
She's great.
Was she good in The White Princess or The White Queen or whatever?
I couldn't stand this show because
it's not your cup of tea.
No, and all these period pieces are the same thing. It's like, look at these costumes, look at these set pieces, look at this insane melodrama, and then look at this sexual tension. Like, it's the same.
Yeah. No.
Thing.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
I mean, I could write you a trailer. If you gave me like, hey, write a trailer about, Mary Queen of Scots, I'd be like, bum, 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 here, this is the trailer. And the people that are going to go see it are going to see it.
Right.
And the people that aren't. There's no like middle ground where somebody's like, hey, you got to check out The Spanish Princess, because there's not. It's just not.
Well, to be completely honest, that's one of the reasons that I was turned off to Game of Thrones. I didn't stick around long enough for the dragons. And so, like, the medieval melodrama around the kingdom didn't really excite me much, and so I didn't give it enough time for the supernatural dragon element to come into play in a heavy enough way to really entice me and to continue to watch.
All right, so remember how we always talk about what was the Amy Adams one? The Sharp Objects.
Yes.
Okay. We talked about how slow it was, and then the last basically episode and a half was great.
Yeah,
right?
It was a great 2-hour movie after 6 hours of.
Right. So a lot of Game of Thrones is like that first 5 episodes of Sharp Objects.
Right.
You do have to weather a lot of boring storm, and I know I'm going to get like yelled at by Game of Thrones, but if I'm being honest, the first couple seasons of Game of Thrones, in between like Khal Drogo and them pouring the gold on the brother's head and all that kind of stuff, it was very slow.
Yeah,
okay?
you don't hear. I mean, as an
the
outsider,
payoffs are worth it.
As an outsider, you don't hear about episodes like 1 through 11. You just hear about the Red Wedding.
Correct.
Like, and then they move on to the next season,
Yep.
and that's fine. That's a construct of television.
Yes.
I'm not knocking them particularly, because I think that happens in so many programs where you have to build and build and build to the big crescendo ending.
Yep.
Whether that's a fight scene or a death or a murder or some sort of big dramatic element. It's standard.
I get it.
And that's fine.
You're right. The other thing, too, is that those first couple seasons of Game of Thrones did not have near the budget that they have now.
Right.
So I always complained that we never saw any battles with Robb Stark and the Northern Army when he, King in the North, that kind of stuff, right? We never saw any of those, and it was simply because it just kept going like, hey, we've taken so-and-so, we've taken so-and-so. I was like, show a friggin' battle.
Right.
They just didn't have the budget that they could with the Battle of the Bastards.
Yeah.
Right? We never saw those battles, and I don't know if that was I'm guessing it was the budget. I would put money on it, no pun intended, that it was the budget.
Right.
Or if Game of Thrones fans would be like, well, in the books, they never really talked about the battles, Josh. He just won, and because he's a great leader and he fell in love, we don't need to see the battles. For me, one of my favorite movies is Braveheart.
Right. You wanted the fight scenes.
Some of the greatest battle and fight scenes you'll ever see. Call me a simpleton. But if you're doing a show about people battling and armies warring, you want to see the battles. And that's why the last couple seasons when dragons are lighting up columns of armies.
Exactly.
It's friggin' amazing.
Yeah.
That's my rant for the day.
It's the payoff. It's the payoff.
It
All
is.
right. Well, anyway, so The Spanish Princess is coming to Stars. If anyone's excited to see this other than David Griffin, please let us know.
Who am I? Captain of Aragon.
We got a bunch of trailers. Amazon Prime dropped a ton of promotions.
Holy moly.
I'm assuming, again, it's tied to TCA. This is the lovely news dump that we get when these kind of events happen. So one of the trailers they dropped is for this badass looking show with Kate Beckinsale called The Widow.
Yeah, it looks like Jack Ryan with a woman.
Yeah, Jackie Ryan.
Yeah. I mean, it is the kind of, first of all, you can call me whatever you want. Kate Beckinsale can do no wrong in my eyes. That is one of the most attractive human beings ever to be put on this earth.
Even in like the Underworld movies?
Her in Serendipity will change your mind about love forever.
I love Serendipity.
It's a great movie.
My buddy and
Stars Jeremy Piven. It's a fantastic movie.
Where was his hairline in that movie?
Oh, he was bald in that movie.
He was bald. It was pre-plugs.
Pre-plugs.
But I remember going to the second run movie theater in our hometown, The Bird.
Oh, The Bird.
It's celebrating its 90th birthday this year.
Whoa.
I think.
Wow.
But it's a great theater. Okay. Go there every year to see It's a Wonderful Life when I'm home for Christmas. But they run the like $1.99 movies that are second run.
Ours was called The Dentist.
And we were supposed to see. We went for the early show, and it was full or something, or we didn't get there in time. And so it was like the only movie, because it's a one-screen theater, was Serendipity.
Yeah.
And we're like, all right, we'll see this. It was wonderful.
It's a wonderful movie.
I loved it.
It really is.
When I went to New York a few years later, made a point to go to Serendipity.
Boom.
It's delicious.
It's fantastic.
I love those lighthearted John Cusack movies. But Kate Beckinsale's great.
Ugh.
And this
trailer's awesome.
It's badass.
It has elements of Lost. It has elements of Jack Ryan.
Yeah.
It has elements that look like a Blood Diamond kind of a situation, right? Or is it South America kind of where it takes place?
It says the Democratic Republic of the Congo.
Oh man, every time you bring up one of those African warring nations, I'm interested because it always seems like there's something really bad going on there.
Yeah.
And this just looks awesome that she's going after this. It's a dope looking show.
Yeah, it looks really cool. Premieres March 1st on Amazon Prime. She's a wife whose high-powered husband is killed in a plane crash, and she's not convinced that he dies.
Right.
That he died in the crash. So she makes her way to the Congo to find out what's going on. Charles Dance is in it.
I saw that, yeah.
And
as the dad.
Yeah, he looks badass.
I know.
And I'm assuming he's going to be evil just because.
Of course.
I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that one looks really cool. They also dropped a trailer for The Boys, the graphic novel.
Yeah.
That one doesn't come out until the summer, but they released the first look trailer. That looks really cool.
Is The Boys, is that a Frank Miller? Because it looks Frank Miller.
Garth Ennis. No,
Garth Ennis.
It's Preacher. It's the Preacher team, which is why
Seth Rogen.
Exactly. Yeah. And when Schnepp did Comic Book Shopping with Evan Goldberg, they had just announced The Boys, and like he couldn't talk much about it, but he was like, yeah, this is like Preacher's cool and all, but like The Boys is my thing, and I'm so excited to make The Boys like show up on screen.
Yes.
And so he like
it looks
Goldberg
awesome.
Was getting really excited. This looks awesome.
I will say I wasn't excited about The Watchmen until I saw that like quick first look in that HBO thing.
It looks good.
Right?
Yeah.
Same as this one. We got like a thing. I love what's the guy that played Dredd?
Carl Urban.
Carl Urban.
Dr. McCoy.
Awesome. Yes. Sorry. My bad. I love him. I mean, this show kind of looks like the show that I like in the superhero realm.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit darker, a little bit grittier, a little bloody. You know,
Oh, it's very bloody,
I want
very
the bloodiness
violent
of it.
and profane.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, I liked Preacher. I mean, I liked
Enough.
season 2 enough, and then it just got it lost me. Right,
Yeah,
the Preacher lost me. So this one looks like the Garth Ennis situation, Evan Goldberg, Seth Rogen, because I love Future Man on Hulu. It's
Right.
really a fun journey.
Yeah.
So this gets me excited. Just the trailer alone, the bloodiness of it, the grittiness of it. That's what I'm looking for.
So you found your faith after losing it in Preacher?
Correct.
All right.
Yes,
Well, that's
yes.
good. That's good.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing this in the summer.
Yeah.
The trailer, Collider.com has it up. It looks like Seth Rogen posted on his Twitter account.
cool.
So if you haven't seen it, you can go there and find it. And then jumping ahead on the list, Amazon also dropped another trailer for their adaptation of Hannah, the one that Joel Kinnaman and
Yes.
Meryl Enos are in, and they're gonna. The show doesn't premiere until March 1st, same as The Widow, but after the Super Bowl, you can log on to Amazon Prime and watch the pilot.
Just like they used to do.
Yes, I used to love the pilot season thing on Amazon.
Me too.
Because I love being able to watch shows that never make it.
Yeah.
And
Me
watch
too.
and see how things change. Like the pilot that they posted for Man in the High Castle. I forget if they recast, but they definitely re-edited the pilot versus the final airing of the show. And there were a bunch of pilots that I watched that never saw the light of day.
The problem with it is that as it went along, they started just greenlighting all of the pilots.
Right.
So it honestly felt like, because Mrs. Maisel came.
Yeah.
And then we had to wait basically a full year almost.
Right,
Like
right.
8 months until we got the full season. I loved a lot of those pilots. I mean, to this day, the worst pilot I've ever seen was an Amazon pilot that went to series, which was that show I Love Dick.
Oh, right.
With Kevin Bacon.
Yeah,
hands down the worst
Yeah,
pilot
yeah.
I've ever seen. And that includes Inhumans, all of that kind.
Holy mackerel.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you just heard that, that is thunder in Los Angeles. Driving today, we record this on a Thursday.
Yeah.
Lightning flashed right in front of my car. And then the thunder boomed. This is January, people.
We haven't had thunder and lightning. We haven't had a thunderstorm in LA in years, I don't think.
Yeah. We had like some weird heat thunder this summer.
Yeah.
But I've never seen lightning here.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Thunder is weird. It's like the Imagine Dragons are playing here.
Well said, Dad.
Thunder. Feel the thunder. Get it? And lightning and the thunder. Yeah. It's not a good song, but it's catchy.
Twister was on TV the other day. I hadn't seen that in a while.
We have Cal. We have a Cal.
We have Cal.
Yeah. So you can go watch Hannah after the Super Bowl. This trailer looks interesting. There's also, speaking of the Super Bowl, there's a lot of companies that are trying to like break through the fog and do some weird marketing ploys. I was reading this article today. So Verizon is running. They're running a documentary commercial.
Relaunching Verizon. What's that channel that we were on?
Go 90?
Go 90.
No, they've made that they've written that off. But they commissioned Peter Berg to produce a documentary about a bunch of players and coaches in the NFL who experienced life-threatening accidents and were saved by first responders.
Oh yeah, I've seen some of this kind of stuff.
And yeah, they're calling it the team that wouldn't be here.
Okay.
So it's like a thank you to the first responders and stuff.
Sure.
So they're going to run the commercial, but then you can go online and watch the full 30-minute documentary.
I like this idea.
So it's like the commercial is driving you to another commercial almost.
Of a teaser.
Yeah, which
like
is
a
really
teaser
bizarre.
to a commercial to a.
And then I don't think we've talked about it on the show before, but Skittles is doing the Broadway musical with Michael C. Hall. Did you hear about this?
What?
So
Dexter the musical?
yeah, Skittles is doing an afternoon musical, half-hour musical on Broadway somewhere in New York, the afternoon of the Super Bowl. And then they're running some sort of promotion during the game about this musical. Michael C. Hall is starring in it.
As a Skittle?
I don't know. I've been avoiding the commercials, but I will definitely watch it during the game.
Is the musical called Taste the Rainbow?
I probably.
Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Rainbow. It's the sequel.
Yeah. That's the big number is Taste the Rainbow. But Frito-Lay is doing a Tostitos live stream where for 53 hours it's just going to be a camera focused on a bowl of chips, and various NFL players and celebrities are going to come by and eat the chips and refill the bowl. And apparently some viewers going to win something if they watch the live stream.
Got it.
And yeah, so like it's these like really bizarre,
listen,
super weird
of
Super
all
Bowl
the
spots.
things, all the things that you've talked about that interest me.
None of this is happening. None of this is interesting.
None of it is like, wow, I can't wait to see it. Listen, the first responders thing sounds awesome, and I appreciate that, and I love a good sports documentary. But there is nothing quite like a still camera on a bowl of salsa to really get me going.
And it's going to go for 53 hours.
I mean, that's
leading up to the minute before kickoff. So 1 minute before kickoff, they're going to say, and the game starts now.
Scoops.
Let's get ready for football.
So is it just salsa, or are they going to do the queso? Because I prefer a queso.
I mean, apparently people can chat. Fans can request certain flavors of chips and dip, and they're going to be as they refill the bowl, they're gonna be changing it up based on viewer responses.
Man, if I tell you what, if that Tostitos queso didn't turn my stomach upside down, this is a little TMI for everybody, I would eat that every day for every meal. It's my favorite tasting thing that any company puts out there in a jar.
I don't like the liquid cheese. It's not a fan of.
Man,
not a fan of the
You're
liquid.
Missing out on the liquid cheese.
Not a fan of the liquid cheese, but yeah, I mean. What the sad part is that live stream of the chips is probably going to get higher ratings than the Super Bowl itself. But
what if it becomes, as we make fun of it, what if this live stream of the chips things becomes a legitimate phenomenon where people are at the bar and everybody's like, turn it to the chips.
We want to see what's going on with the Tostitos.
Oh, Terry Bradshaw's dipping a chip in it. Uh-oh. Is he naked? Like from Failure to Launch?
It's the Masked Singer of Super Bowl ads.
Yes.
It's like, it's ridiculous. No one understands why they like it, but they cannot look away.
Is that Dan Marino's hand? Is he wearing isotoners? That's the kind of stuff that we need from this Tostitos thing. And how big is it just the bowl, and are they ghost hands?
I mean,
I'm telling you, now I'm interested in this thing.
It's totally hooking you. The article said it was close up on the chips, but then it said celebrities were going to pop by. So I have to imagine that they have maybe two angles, like a close up chip and then a wide shot of the couch. Man. That's my assumption. I don't know. We have a lot of questions.
Maybe it's shot
next week. Next week's TV Talk will be a full 1 hour recap of the Tostitos live stream.
As instead of what somebody on Twitter, and I'm not making fun of you. I appreciate it. Said we should do a full episode on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
That was Dorian.
Oh, that was Dorian.
Dorian requested a full hour on the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. trailer.
Okay.
Which I said no to.
Got it. Dorian!
He's not here yet.
Oh.
I think he's working remotely right now.
What is then there was another fan, you were on the thing, and he said, hey, you guys should do a full review leading up to something. And I was like, not enough people. Billions.
Oh,
listen,
yeah.
Would I love to do reviews of Billions every week?
Yes.
Of course I would.
Of course.
Would I like to do a full series leading up to season 4? Of course I would. You don't understand. 0.01% of the population watches Billions.
Yeah.
And the people that will listen and watch this channel, it's even smaller.
Yeah.
Which is why TV Talk is probably going to superhero TV Talk. But now see, again, I'm coming full circle on this bowl of chips idea. Are they shooting it portrait mode? Is it and then in the background you've got two players talking?
I don't know.
And people are just eating chips walking by?
As of now, I don't even know where to find it. I just read about it in an article, so I got to find out where it is.
Is there a Costanza double dip situation where if you catch a double dip, you win a prize? There are so many things, Dad.
I know.
Sorry, this is the most excited I've been all show. We got an Umbrella Academy trailer.
That thing looks cool.
Awesome.
I am excited about that show.
It kind of looks like what I thought Sucker Punch was going to be.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or like the school in Matilda. Or the orphanage in Matilda.
The school in Matilda, yes. It is.
And it becomes the Umbrella Academy, It looks very, very interesting. This show, a lot of these superhero properties that are coming out that aren't mainstream are really tugging at my sensibilities, things that I'm interested in, which I like, which makes sense of, why whatever. You get full circle. But this looks pretty cool. What do you think?
I'm really excited. It comes out on the 15th.
And I've heard the reviews coming in are fantastic.
Yeah, the reviews are really solid.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited for checking this out. I think it does look like one of those unique comic properties that you need in New York. Unique New York. I can't do it.
Unique New York.
My lips are still so incredibly chapped from New York City. Like, I got home and I was like, I really should have had a scarf the entire trip.
Just a full balaclava.
Oh God. I'm a mess. I'm a mess right now.
So when I lived in New York, I shot this independent film. It's called Plasterhead.
Oh, I'm familiar.
You're familiar with Plasterhead. So we shot it up in the Catskills. And we shot it in like late December, right before Christmas.
We're going to the Catskills.
Great episodes. Great episodes. And so we're out in the Catskills and it is freezing. That I think on the one night shoot, it was like 6 degrees. It's sort of like polar vortex, just not as bad. Because right now the Midwest and
everything
the rest
is
of the
polar
country,
vortex.
yeah, they canceled school. I mean, basically the entire Midwest is just under a blanket of cold. So. Yeah. We're out in the Catskills, and my face was getting so cold while acting that my words weren't coming out. So I was like, and so we'd have to go in, like warm up our faces, run out, scream the lines, and then run back in because my spittle was freezing to my face.
Oh, I in college I shot a feature action film in Boston.
Die Hard 5.
No, it was a loving ripoff of 24.
Oh, nice.
It had like the real time format.
Love it.
But it about a bunch of hitmen.
Okay.
And so it was a bunch of 20-year-olds pretending to be adults. It was cool. It
like
was
most
fine.
student films.
It was fine. But it was so cold for some of those exterior scenes where I mean we were overdubbing like 10 minutes in a row of footage where it was just like we can't use anything,
right?
Because and then some scenes there'd be breath everywhere, then other scenes we shot in like April and it wasn't cold anymore and we're like, where's the breath coming from? I don't know. What are you gonna do? There's nothing you can do.
Continuity of environment.
Yes.
Okay, so there's an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. trailer.
There is. It looks really good. I mean, the new.
Are they back on Earth or are they still in space?
They are back on Earth for now. Okay. There's like a portal to another dimension coming in. Clark Gregg's character, Agent Phil Coulson, is dead, except
he's alive.
He's alive. He comes back at the end of the trailer, but it doesn't look like it's necessarily him. It might be an alternate universe version of him, or a robot, or a lot of things that are just making you get up and leave. I understand, but for fans of. Can
you hear the song playing in my head? Like I'm just zoning out.
Oh yeah,
it's like when you start talking Star Trek.
The minute you said Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. trailer, I could tell your eyes just kind of glossed over.
No, I'm telling you, I really enjoyed a lot of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
It's just as soon as they went to space, I'm out.
That's fair. I mean, you do you. I'm not gonna. If they went to Middle Earth, I'd be out too. Like there you go. There's some things that I just leaps that I can't really get behind thematically, and that's totally okay. Everyone's got their thing. So yeah, season 6. If you were a fan of season 5, this looks like a very good continuation. The best part about this is that it's a 13 episode season. So I don't know if they're going to do one arc or 2 arcs inside of it. They've been doing the arc structure for their 22
like
hours.
6 and 6.
Yeah,
sometimes.
And they've been working really well. Those arcs that they were doing in season 5. So I don't know if this is going to be one long arc or a combination of 2.
Okay.
But it looks really good. They've already been picked up for a 13 episode season 7, which I think they might be filming them back to back.
Is that lovely Scottish girl still in the show?
Lily Henstridge. Yes. You two had a moment at Comic-Con.
We did. I think she's upset I got married.
I mean, it was a beautiful moment. I was very jealous and very happy for you at the same time. So yeah, I mean, I think that's the best part because the 22 episode orders, while the arc structure works really well for them, there were definitely maybe like one arc every season that was kind of like the bridge.
Yeah.
That wasn't really like connecting as much.
Okay.
That I think that if they just do this 13 episode summer run, it's going to be high powered. Plus, it's not like we're getting any more Netflix Marvel shows.
That's true.
So you can enjoy this.
Your fix.
You can get your fix. You can get your 13 episode fix week to week. Looks fun. So I think it'll be good.
All right.
I'm looking forward to it.
Here we go. I mean, if I jumped back into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., it's not that much of a commitment, and I don't have to go back and watch season 5.
No, you don't. They're going to catch. I mean, the first episode, there's going to be enough exposition to catch everyone up.
Okay.
Because it is network television, they are going to just they're going to do a good recap at the top.
Yeah.
And then like a few drop in lines of dialogue to be like, oh yeah, remember that thing that happened to Agent May?
Yeah.
And just kind of explain it all for the audience.
Agent May. Fan.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is real quick because we're not going to see these. SyFy is doing a Chucky series. Cool. They're going to reboot Chucky for SyFy, and Resident Evil is going to be on Netflix. Here's the thing. I played that Resident Evil game with Copster, Resident Evil 2.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, it's like a reboot of this.
That video's up on the Collider Games
Is it
channel,
up?
I think.
Is it up?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think so. It's very funny.
Thanks. It's fun. It was a cool game, but they don't give you enough bullets. And there's zombies everywhere, and it's quite scary.
Okay.
Now, here's one thing in my I'm scared of everything that I'm not super scared about. I think that I'm not scared of zombies that much, but I think it's just because Walking Dead is always shot basically during the daytime.
Oh, and they're slow moving.
Slow moving.
It's the slow moving zombie you're okay with.
Correct. Now in Resident Evil, they're everywhere, and it's dark and it's rainy and there's like a cop and it's scary.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll be more scared of Resident Evil.
Okay.
I've never seen a Resident Evil movie, the ones with
Mila Jovovich.
yeah.
Multipass.
I was going to say Multipass.
Multipass.
But you know what? Out of the goodness of my heart, because I'm still watching The Walking Dead, I'm going to give the first Resident Evil on Netflix a chance.
That's so kind of you.
If it scares me, I'm out.
Now, see, you're scared of everything.
Yeah.
But not scared of zombies. I am terrified of zombies.
Really?
Yes.
Why? Do you think they could be possible?
Because I think they could happen.
Okay.
And my wife likes to play this horrible trick on me where if
Amanda, no.
she's angry at me for any reason,
Okay.
she will start to pretend to be a zombie. she does a very convincing zombie impression, and like she'll like go for the neck kind of thing. And I've told her multiple times that she cannot do that because eventually I will just pick up a sledgehammer. Because I'm like, at some point, if you don't stop when I say stop, I'm going to think that the zombie apocalypse has begun, and you're patient zero, and I have to get away.
See?
Like
It's
I'm gonna get arrested.
Boy cried wolf.
I'm gonna get arrested one day because someone's gonna be like, "What happened?" And be like, "There were a bunch of kids out playing zombie, and they didn't stop when I asked them to, and I thought the zombie apocalypse was real."
Correct.
Like I'm fully imitating behavior.
See, you know what, too?
Because the zombie apocalypse could happen.
It 100%
It's like we're one bird flew away.
Yeah.
From the zombie apocalypse.
I mean, more than likely it'll be more like that depressing movie with Matt Damon, where everybody was dying and his wife was patient zero, played by Gwyneth Paltrow.
Contagion.
Yeah.
Soderbergh film. Love
Yes.
that movie.
It was a great movie.
Love that movie.
What's that French woman that I think is one of the most beautiful people on the planet? Marianne Cotillard.
She is one of the most beautiful people on the planet.
Oh my goodness.
She's a 9/11 truther though, so she's kind of crazy.
Oh, really?
But she's very good actress.
All right. We got some TCA news. There's a Wu-Tang docuseries?
Yeah, so Showtime.
We've talked about this before.
Yeah, well, it just premiered at Sundance, and
Okay.
they've announced that it's going to come out this May.
Nice.
On Showtime. Showtime just did their TCA panel.
Got it.
Not long before we taped this, so I've just started to see some news. So they've dated that. They've got a new the Chai season 2 is coming out this year. Bryan Cranston is going to be starring in a legal thriller from the creators from Peter Moffat, who created the British version of The Night Of.
Ah.
So it was called Criminal Justice.
Yeah.
Before it came to
Amanda
HBO.
watched it. Yeah.
And it's him and Robert and Michelle King who created The Good Wife and The Good Fight. Takes place in New Orleans. Apparently this has been in development for like over a year, but they finally locked in Cranston because he's going to be finishing his run on Broadway and Network.
Okay.
And which I really want to go see because I've heard he's incredible,
Okay.
and Network's one of my favorite films.
Interesting.
It started, the Howard Beale,
I know.
Yeah. Great play. But so he is playing a. Where does it say? He's playing a respected judge in New Orleans whose son is involved in a hit and run, and
his son did the hit and run?
His son did, and then it leads to a high stakes game of lies, deceits, and impossible choices.
Got it.
So it's a 10 episode series.
Sounds like me at a New Orleans restaurant.
Yeah.
Lies, cheats, and impossible choices.
But wonderful service.
Oh, fantastic. I just want to eat
17-hour
everything.
meals.
Yes.
7-hour meals.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's happening, and they're also they officially greenlit the sequel to the L Word.
It's not a sequel. It's like a revival.
Is it?
That's what it says.
Oh, no way.
A revival of the L Word.
Interesting.
The contemporary sequel will feature old and new cast members.
Okay.
So it's like a continuation revival.
Okay.
And there's so many different words. And I mean, I knew The Chi was getting a season 2.
Yeah.
And they're debuting again in the summer, I would imagine. I think The Chi, and I liked it, but I thought it was maybe my most disappointed
I remember you telling me that, yeah.
Because I was anticipating it so much. I was so excited for The Chi, and I was just kind of not excited by what they did with it. It was more slice of life than it was what I thought it was going to be. Not that that's a bad thing,
right?
Because the kids were really cool, and it was a cool story. It was like The Wire light.
Yeah, I remember because and I think says a lot about the marketing, because I think the marketing really tried to push it to be like, this is The Wire.
This is The Wire
for Chicago.
Correct.
And Chicago's going through a lot of S right now.
Yeah.
Like a ton of it. Speaking of which, the Jussie Smollett thing that happened this week
my God.
is freaking terrible.
Terrible and terrifying.
It's just, I can't, there are no words. They put out grainy surveillance footage of two persons of interest.
Really?
They're trying to track down right now. If you live in the Chicago area and you think you could help, please.
It's going to be hard to find them now because nobody's allowed outside.
Yeah.
But please,
that's true.
Yeah.
And so it's absolutely horrendous.
Terrible.
But yeah, so I thought The Chi was going to be more of that. And then I started reading reviews and it felt like a much more slice of life thing.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Chicago.
But wait, hold on. Because you mentioned it when you were talking about The Chi season 2. The show that we're working on, The Chi, is all about lattes and Starbucks and like that sweet Christmassy taste.
Yeah, and I'm hoping if The Chi works, that by middle of season 2, we can do a backdoor pilot for the matcha.
The matcha.
Yeah, which is like the greener version of
matcha do about nothing.
Yeah. But yeah, talking about Chicago.
So you're welcome, America. Where else are you going to get TV breakdown like that? I'm looking right into the camera.
You're not supposed to do that, Josh.
Sorry.
Look at me.
Sorry.
Look at me for conversation. So, speaking of Chicago,
I was talking to America, though.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not America.
What are you?
I'm just another white dude.
You're just Thad.
I'm just another white dude.
The island of Thad.
So, what's going on with Shameless right now? I have not started. I binged season 9A, like the first half of the season, over the holiday break, because I was excited to see the end of Emmy Rossum's character, and then it wasn't her sign off.
No.
So I was like, well, crap, now I have to watch all of the back half. And I saw in the notes you wrote, like, what the F is Shameless now?
Yeah.
All caps. Like, is it as bonkers as I am afraid it is?
It's getting there, man. It's getting there. It's getting to the point where it's just not believable anymore.
I mean, it hasn't been believable for a couple years.
I know. And the only people that I find redeeming on the show that I like anymore, legitimately, are V and Kevin. That's it.
But then their plot line started getting absurd.
But it's now back to being less absurd.
Okay, are they're grounded again?
Yes,
they were the grounded people for the longest time, and then they started with the child care and the Russian lady
lesbian thing, and that didn't make sense. But now they're back to being grounded, and they're just making Fiona so annoying, Debbie even more annoying. Liam has no more storyline, which is a bummer because I really like the Liam in school line.
I did too.
The Carl West Point with this girl thing just doesn't make sense. The whole waste of Lip as like a motorcycle repairman is the worst. The thing about, I get it. I get that Shameless is supposed to be like, let's try and get them as close to the mountain as possible, and then Sisyphus, it rolls right back down. I understand that. But it doesn't have to be like that. They don't have to just always be losers. They could rise up and it could be an entertaining show grounded in something, instead of every time they just fall back into this alcoholic cycle and they're like, well, it's their parents' fault. It doesn't have to be like that.
I know. They're falling into that. They're falling into a thing that a lot of comedy series, Silicon Valley does it very, very famously, where a lot of comedy series, they spend most of the year trying to get out of their rut, and then by the end of the season, they end up in the exact same place that they started.
Right.
And we're going to talk about it a little bit later, but what I loved about The Good Place as a series and the finale that they just ran this week or last week was, while they, instead of getting back to point A every time, at the end of every season, they reset it by starting something new.
Okay.
They so at the end of the first season, they find out a big twist that changes the whole trajectory. At the end of the second season, they get put into a new location, which changes everything. And at the end of the third season, stuff happens that changes it yet again.
Got it.
So,
I still need to binge and catch up.
Whereas a show like Shameless or Silicon or a lot of the even Veep to a certain degree, a lot of the comedies, because they know what works for the. They know what works for the characters, so they just keep spinning their wheels, and I think it's so noticeable on Shameless because every time you're like, I want someone to succeed, I want someone to break out, somebody like, and it gets like right up to the edge, and then oops, nope, you're just gonna
You're
you're gonna go back to your old ways.
100%.
And in unrelated news, Shameless has just been picked up for season 10.
There we go.
They closed William H. Macy's deal, and he and the kids are back minus
Fiona, and I'm guessing
and Ian. Yeah. That was his last episode as well.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So Fuller House renewed for a 5th season.
Fifth and final.
It's
going to be their
I
send-off.
never watched an episode.
I tried to watch the first couple, and I was not a fan.
Okay.
It's a product of its time, and I did not like the redo at all.
I mean, I'm just glad they never did this to things like Saved by the Bell. That like we got some sort of like revival series of them as adults, and well, obviously you can't do a Screech because he's a complete mess.
I mean, the college years was the closest that they did with that, and that was a disaster.
Total.
But I've watched every episode like 6 times.
I know.
And
there wasn't that many of them.
And then the new class.
Yeah.
Woof. But yeah, so
okay, so let's do some mini reviews.
Bye Fuller House.
Bye Fuller House. Roxy and I have been talking about doing a Fuller House kind of a hypothetical question on hypotheticals, which you can check on this channel, Collider Hypotheticals, about Fuller House. So that might come in the next couple of weeks.
Okay.
Mini reviews. Have you watched any of the Bundy tapes?
I have not yet.
Okay.
I'm really looking forward to it. Joe Berlinger is one of my favorite documentarians, and he also directed the
Zac Efron movie, right?
The scripted version of the Ted Bundy story with Zac Efron, which Zac is getting rave reviews.
From Sundance.
Adam Chitwood posted a review of it from Sundance on Collider.com, and the way he's talking about Efron's performance, like it's early, but depending on when this movie gets released,
I was going to say,
it could be an Oscar conversation kind of thing for him.
Wow.
I'm really looking forward to watching that and also the Bundy tapes. What do you think of the miniseries?
So I'm an episode and a half into the Bundy tapes. It's very creepy. It's very dark, obviously.
Yeah.
It's upsetting 100%, but it's very well done and it's very interesting.
Okay.
And it's creepy.
How many episodes did they do for the
4, I think?
Okay.
There's 4.
Ooh, I like a 4-part I like a 4-part docuseries.
Yeah, because I just watched Murder Mountain. I just finished Murder Mountain. That was 6. Yeah, and I think Bundy Tapes is 4. Murder Mountain was very interesting. I finished that. I highly recommend that to anybody that is. It's just a very well done documentary about a part of this country you know nothing about, and it has the highest disappearance rate of any. I mean, it's just because it's middle of nowhere, and there's these gangs that are running some of these illegal grow houses and stuff that are killing people and just burying them in the middle of nowhere. People are just disappearing. It's crazy.
That's awful.
Yeah. True Detective. I think this is our launching point episode.
Yeah, I mean, I really liked episode 3 a lot. I think it was slow, but I liked where the case was going, and I think that episode 4 was really like, okay, now we start seeing the twists and the turns, and I'm really liking the format that they're using this time around. I think it works. Mahershala's character works really well in the time jumps, and I'm liking
time jumps are all about hair.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And it was the same thing for the first show.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm loving it.
Yeah, I think it's great. I'm liking the visual cues that they're using for his for when he's having mental lapses.
Yeah.
I think those are really cool. And I'm the one thing that this show doesn't have yet that I think that the first season had was, remember that incredible one take action sequence
when he's beating those dudes in those housing projects.
Yeah. When he's going after the skinheads.
Yeah.
And it was like this like epic action scene that got everyone talking about the show. And I think it was
episode 4.
I think it was episode 4, and it was one of those moments that it made the show so culturally part of the zeitgeist.
Right.
And this season has not had that yet.
Yep.
And the way that episode 4 ended, I thought that we were heading that direction. But instead, it just cut to the credits. So I'm wondering if episode 5 is going to have
something like that.
Kick that off a little bit.
Because I'm getting more and more interested by the case, which is the point.
Yes.
And just as much interested in how do these things all fall apart.
Right. I'm really looking forward to seeing. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing how the case ends. How long it takes for us to find out what happened in 80.
Yeah.
Versus what happened in 90. Like, are they going to drop everything in the final episode?
Yeah.
Or is 80 going to like come to a head in episode 5 or 6, and then you have to figure out what happens in 90 to then how it resolves?
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying the structure of it all.
Me too.
It's a lot of fun.
Me too.
I recommend.
You watched Rent?
I did. I watch all the
Really?
I watch all the live musicals.
I don't.
I'm not surprised. I'm always interested in live television and live event programming. Some friends of mine have been assistant directors on all the live musicals, so I'm always excited to see what they're doing. This one was interesting. I mean, I'm not a huge Rent fan to begin with, as a musical. But I was really intrigued by the way they staged it. Okay. So after Jesus Christ Superstar was basically a concert.
Okay.
Like they had a proscenium stage and a bunch of crowd members, and then they played they did act like they staged it and they had
just
some
shot
props.
a stage play.
No, they made it like a rock concert.
Okay.
And this one was kind of the same way. They built a theater in the round.
Okay.
And there's audience all over, and the stage, and different parts of the stage, and catwalks, and different multiple levels.
Okay.
And that's actually how running from one catwalk to another, the day before the show, one of the two lead actors twisted his ankle and broke his foot.
Jesus.
So they ended up having to
understudy.
No, they don't do understudies for the TV shows. So they had to run the dress rehearsal live for the first 2.5 hours of the 3-hour show. So for better or for worse, it wasn't actually live when they ran it.
Interesting.
And they did like an announcement on
That's the
top.
best thing I've heard, because I'm not going to watch it, but that's the more interesting than the actual play to me.
It had its detractions. I mean, I think some of the actors were maybe not going 110% because it was the rehearsal.
Okay.
And they couldn't redo their performance, which kind of sucks. Same thing for the camera operators. Like if the director wanted to change a shot here and there.
They didn't have that option.
They were working. I mean, it was pretty flawless.
Okay.
And I don't know if they tweaked some stuff in the edit.
Yeah.
But it was pretty flawless.
All right, we're talking too much about Rent.
Okay, fine. And the ending was nice. They brought the original cast back.
Okay.
The original, I mean, Anthony Rapp, Taye Diggs, and Dina Menzel. I mean,
I get it.
It's crazy.
I get
Jesse
it.
L. Martin. They're all still famous.
I know.
So it was cool.
I get it. Speaking of a show that I'm just like, I don't know if I'm on board with it anymore, is Crashing. Like, I like it.
Never watched it.
But like this past episode, I don't know. I'm just mad on it.
How many
man.
seasons is this?
This is season 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And you've been watching the whole show?
The whole show.
I can't say I've ever turned it on.
Yeah.
And I like Pete Holmes.
I do.
I
do
don't
too.
believe him as an actor, though.
No. Yeah.
He's playing a version of himself.
He's
but
playing himself.
Yeah.
I don't know. I watched the first episode of I Am the Night.
You didn't like it?
I listen. Indy Isley came in on Collider Live. She's great. She's great in the show. She does a hell of a job acting. Chris Pine, is Chris Pine. Just the pilot episode of this. I don't know what I'm really getting into. There's nothing that is like grabbing me as far as I'm kind of just bored. Right, like there isn't a crime that they're going for yet. I know they're establishing characters, but like in True Detective, it starts out with the crime.
Right.
Like I want to see what we're getting at. I don't care if it's flashbacks or whatever. I want to see. You need to grab me in that first one. I don't care about it yet.
Yeah, I watched it last night and I liked the pilot. I thought Patty Jenkins did a good job with what she had to work with.
Sure.
I think that, to your point, I think the script was missing that big opening scene that I don't think that they delivered on. Because at the end, the credits rolled, and I got excited because I started to piece together the real life story thing that they were going for, and like, oh, this is actually going to tie in here and here and here, but none of that, all of that was in my head. None of it was on the screen.
Right.
So I had to explain it all to Amanda. She's like, "Why are you excited?" Because I thought that was kind of boring. And I was like, "Oh, well, because in episode 2 they're going to show us like this is going to dovetail with this, and then we're going to see a little bit." But like we didn't see any of that in the pilot.
Yes.
And I don't know if that's because they shot it with the intention of the pilot being like a 2-hour movie.
Yeah.
And then TNT stripped it into 2 episodes.
Yeah.
So maybe by episode 2, maybe my thought will change by the end of episode 2 because I assume.
I'm hoping. I'm going to keep watching.
I assume Patty Jenkins directed the first 2 episods. I don't know that.
I think she did the whole thing.
Did she really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming that the first 2 kind of work like one movie.
Yeah.
And then it's the rest of the show.
I watched this story about the girl, the person that this is based on, and Patty Jenkins and her had talked about it, and she loved it. And then she went and did Wonder Woman, and then I think this was on the Daily Show. And then the woman that there were a bunch of people offering things. She's like, I'm not going to do it without Patty Jenkins. So she waited until Patty Jenkins was available.
That's cool
to do it.
That's cool.
Should we talk about the Good Place finale?
I mean, you didn't see it. What I said is what I stick with it. I thought it was a great way to end the show and start a new season.
Yeah.
Because unlike a lot of these other shows, I love the way that they reset the timeline.
Yeah.
It just works really well.
And honestly, man, I haven't watched an episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine this year on NBC. I got to get on Hulu and just catch up. Because my DVR, my DVR knew it was on Fox, so it recorded it. And I didn't have to worry about when it. But now that it's on NBC, my DVR didn't catch up with the flip, so it's, I don't have it.
That's fair. I just caught up last night, and I think it's good. Chelsea Peretti's starting her final arc.
Okay.
I thought what I watched last night was her final episode, but then I saw her posting pictures of tonight's episode with her in it. So I don't know if tonight's her final episode. I have no idea.
Maybe it's just the part of the part.
Yeah. I'm not sure, but I'm enjoying it. It's fun. I mean, it's a good time.
There you go. All right, that's your TV talk. Here on a Friday, the 1st of February. If you're in the polar vortex, stay warm. Please don't go outside. Please don't do anything silly like getting yourself frozen. And we appreciate you guys watching. You guys can subscribe to the channel, Collider Podcast, subscribe to the podcast feed. You can check out Collider Hypotheticals. You're going to see some Star Trek stuff up there. We're going to try and get Dorian more involved in some superhero TV for you guys on this channel. So stay tuned. We got all kinds of fun stuff, and we appreciate you guys watching. I'm Josh Macuga, at Josh Macuga on Twitter and Instagram, The Josh Macuga Show on YouTube, and The Afternoons with Josh and Ken. Thadd Williams.
I'm at Thadd Williams, and I am just tuning in to the Tostitos Live Bowl, which starts at 1:30 Eastern Time this Friday and goes for 53 hours. So it's on their YouTube page, and I will have it up the whole weekend.
Oh, man.
Because I'm so perplexed
Tostitos
by this
bowl.
Absurd marketing ploy. I am just doing it. I'm doing it.
I'm into it. And
they have queso dip in the picture, by the way.
Yes.
Just so you know, it's in the thumbnail.
Yes. There it is. Collider TV Talk. Hashtag it. We'll see you guys next time. As always, put down the book. Pick up the note.